Good morning, all of you. So, my name is Ramesh, working as assistant professor in AAA department. So, last class we are discussing about the construction of a DC machine. So, which is mainly consists of yoke or frame, poles and pole cores, armature winding, field winding, armature core, commutator and brushes. So, each and every part of a DC machine is to be explained in last class. So next one is, today we are discussing about the principle of operation of DC generator. Principle of operation of DC generator. So the basic principle of generator is works on the dynamically induced EMF. Induced EMF is to be broadly classified into two types. One is statically induced EMF. Second one is dynamically induced EMF. So statically induced EMF means magnetic field is constant, but statically induced EMF means conductor constant, so we can change the positions of field. Now it induces an EMF. That EMF is called as statically induced EMF. But in case of a dynamically induced EMF, field constant, magnetic field is always constant, but so we can change the position of conductor. So then conductor cuts the magnetic field, it induces an EMF. That EMF is called as dynamically induced EMF. So the basic principle of a DC generator is dynamically induced EMF. So in this operation, so how it is to be generates the alternating supply, or how it is to be generates the electrical energy. So in this, which is always requires permanent magnet, single turn rectangular coil, two slip rings, two brushes and external load. So in this, so these two are the permanent magnet, north pole and south pole. So magnetic lines of passes through the north pole to south pole. So in between these two we can place two conductors. One end of both the conductors are joined. So remaining two ends of the conductors are directly connected to the two slip rings. So the surface of the slip rings is to be directly connected to brushes. These two are the brushes. So in this operation, so first of all, permanent magnets is always generates the magnetic field, so which is always flows from north pole to south pole. In between the magnetic field, so we can place the conductor. So in this operation we are considering as a single turn coil. So that is single turn rectangular coil. Is to be placed in a magnetic field. So by using of prime mover, so we can rotating in 360 degrees. So in this initially, so we can place north pole and south pole, so which is equal to AB is a one conductor, CD is a another conductor. So these two ends are directly connected to the two slip rings and brushes, finally external load circuit. So by using of prime mover, so which is to be continuously rotated. So in this position, or the position of rectangular coil at 0 degrees, there is no movement of a coil in between the magnetic field. So those conductors not cut by the magnetic field, so it will not be induces any amount of. So that's why the voltage or induced EMF at 0 degrees is equal to 0. So in case of a second condition, so by using a prime mover, those coil or rectangular coil is to be rotating to 0 degrees to 90 degrees in a clockwise direction. So which is to be rotating to 0 to 90 degrees. So during the rotation of conductors or rotation of rectangular coil, so which is always cuts the magnetic field produced by the permanent magnets. So it induces an EMF. Already we know Faraday's first law. So whenever a conductor cuts magnetic field, it induces an EMF. So in this, these conductor is to be rotating from 0 degrees to 180 degrees. 0 degrees to 180 degrees. Those conductor cuts magnetic field, it induces an EMF. That EMF is to be directly collected by the split rings and finally which will be delivered to external load. In this position, maximum amount of flux is to be cut by the rectangular coil. So that's why which is to be comes into maximum position. So in case number 3, again which will be rotating to 90 degrees to 180 degrees. 90 degrees to 180 degrees. So in this position, which is again comes into the flux cut by the rotor conductors is also maximum value to minimum value. So which is also induces an EMF in the coil is also reduced to 0. After that, using a prime mover, so which is to be rotating to the 180 degrees to 270 degrees. 180 degrees to 270 degrees. So in this position, again which will because of the position of conductors. So previously in this position, red color conductor is to be placed on topmost conductor. So black one is bottom conductor. After rotating 180 degrees, the positions of both the conductors are interchanged. So that's why which is to be comes into the 180 degrees to 270 degrees. Again which will be comes into the flux cut by the conductor is also maximum because of which is to be comes into the horizontal position. So that's why. So the conductor positions are also changes. That means negative half cycle corresponding maximum amount by the rectangular coil. So which is to be directly delivered to external load. So that is maximum amount of flux. In case of another last case, so again which will becomes into by using a prime mover which will becomes into 270 degrees to 360 degrees. So in this position again which will becomes into the original position or 0 degrees. So in this the maximum or flux cut by the conductor is also reduced to 0. Is always represented as 0. So initially which is equal to 0 degrees, 90 degrees and again 0 and negative maximum and finally 0 degrees. So we are considered as a rectangular coil. So by using a prime mover which will be rotating from 0 to 360 degrees. So generator or conductor is to be induced an EMF is to be represented in positive cycle and negative cycle. So that's way. So whenever the generator is always generates the alternating supply. So in this generator terminal voltage versus angle is to be represented as the alternating supply. So in this way generator is to be generates the alternating supply. So this is the principle of operation of DC generator. So next one is EMF equation of a DC generator. How much amount of EMF is to be induced in a armature or conductor? So previously we are considered as a rectangular coil is to magnetic field. So by using a prime mover we can rotating into 0 to 360 degrees. So then it should be generates the one positive half cycle and one negative half cycle. So in this, how much amount of EMF is to be generated? So by rotating from 0 position to or continuously rotating up to 1500 RPM. So based on the number of poles which is to be rotating to the 1000 RPM. So in this, so we are using EMF equation of a DC generator. EMF equation of a DC generator. So first of all, we know the notations of DC machine. Notations of DC machine. So P represents the number of poles of the machine. Number of poles of the machine. Second one is phi is equal to flux per pole in Webers. So these are the units of a parameters. Third one is Z, total number of armature conductors. So all of you know construction of a DC generator which is having two parts. One is armature, another one is field system. So in this armature is always carries the conductors. Total number of conductors are placed in a armature is to be denoted by Z. N is equal to speed of armature. Speed of armature in RPM, revolutions per minute. Revolutions per minute. A is equal to number of parallel paths in the armature winding. Number of parallel paths. So because of armature winding is to be classified into two types. So one is lap winding. Second one is wave winding. Second one is wave winding. So based on the types of these two, so we can use number of parallel paths in the armature winding. In one revolution of the armature. In one revolution of the armature. So in this we are considered as a DC machine. So which is equal to, we are considered as a 4-pole machine. 4-pole machine. So in which, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 4-pole machine. So in this 4-pole machine, we are considered as a one conductor is to be placing in this position. So by using a prime mover, so which will be rotating to from 0 degrees to again which will becomes into 360 degrees. That 0 degrees. So we can complete, our conductor is to be completes one revolution. So how many number of poles is to be covered by the conductor? So in one revolution of the armature is to be completing one revolution. Flux cut by one conductor is equal to P into phi. So because of each pole is to be generates the flux is phi. So for completing one revolution, which is always covers the 4 poles. So this is the direction of conductor is to be completing one revolution. So which is to be covered by pole number 1, pole 2, pole 3 and pole 4. So in this number of poles in a machine is to be considered as a P poles. So that's why flux cut by one conductor is equal to P into phi. P into pi. So time taken to complete one revolution by time taken to complete one revolution. So one revolution or 1 RPM is equal to N. 1 RPM is equal to N. So because of N is equal to speed of armature in RPM. So RPM, revolutions per minute, is equal to N. So which is to be converted into seconds. So because of which is always considered as a, the time is to be considered in seconds. So that's why RPS or revolutions per second. So the time taken to complete one revolution dt is equal to 60 divided by N. 60 divided by N. So because of minute, the relation between minutes and seconds is 60. So that's why dt is equal to 60 divided by N. 60 divided by. So EMF generated per conductor. So from Faraday's first law, whenever a conductor cuts magnetic field, it induces an EMF. So second law states that the magnitude of induced EMF is directly proportional to rate of change of flux linkages. So E is equal to N into d phi by dt. So but in this number of turns. So because of we are considered as a one turn coil or one conductor. So that's why which is not n parameter is to be neglected. E is equal to d phi by dt. So d phi or change in flux for completing one revolution is equal to P into phi divided by to complete one revolution, time taken to complete one revolution. So dt is equal to 60 divided by n. 60 divided by n. So that's way. So which is equal to P into phi into n divided by 60. So this is the EMF generated per conductor. EMF generated per conductor is equal to P into phi into n divided by 60. So then in this armature is always carries the Z number of conductors. So we can find out the total number of EMF or total EMF is to be generated in the armature. EMF of generator is to be denoted by EG. EG is the generated EMF is equal to EMF per parallel path. So which can be written as EMF per conductor is to be multiplied with number of conductors in series per parallel path. In this, so which is equal to generated voltage EG is equal to EMF per conductor is to be multiplied with number of parallel paths. So in this already we are calculating the generated EMF per conductor is equal to P into phi into n divided by 60 into total number of conductors divided by A, Z by A. So because of where A is equal to number of parallel paths. So Z is the total number of conductors. Total number of conductors divided by number of parallel paths, we are getting the number of conductors in series path. So that's why P into phi into n divided by 60 into A. So generated voltage EG is equal to Z into phi into n, Z by n by 60 into P divided by A. So this is the final equation of voltage is to be induced in a generator. EG is equal to Z by n by 60 into P by A. So for example, in case of a designing of a armature, we are using lap winding. So in this lap winding, A is always is equal to P for lap winding. So A is equal to P for lap winding. Second one is, so which is to substituting in place of EG. EG is equal to Z into phi into n by 60 into P divided by A. A is also is equal to P. This one gets cancelled. So EG is equal to Z by n by 60. So when we are using lap winding, generated voltage in a armature is equal to Z by n by 60. So but in case of a wave winding, so we are using wave winding. So which is equal to A is always is equal to 2 for wave winding. In case of a wave winding, A is always is equal to 2. So which is substituting in generated voltage. EG is equal to Z into phi into n divided by 60 into P divided by 2. A is to be replaced with 2. So then, so which is equal to Z into phi into n by 60 or 120 into 120. So this is the final equation. So it is equal to Z by N by 60 into P by 2. So Eg is equal to Z into phi into N into P divided by 120. So this is the final equation of generated voltage for wave winding. So first of all, we know the parameters of a armature as well as field winding. Second one is, so for completing one revolution of armature, flux cut by the conductor is equal to P into phi. So time taken to complete one revolution is equal to 60 by N. EMF generated per conductor is equal to E is equal to d phi by dt. So we can substitute in d phi is equal to dt is equal to 60 by N. So this is the EMF per conductor is equal to P by N by 60. P by N by 60. EMF of generator. So total EMF is to be induced in a generator is equal to EMF per conductor is to be multiplied with number of conductors in series per parallel path. Eg is equal to Z by N by 60 into P by A for lap winding or wave winding. So which is also differentiated by, so this is the wave winding, or Eg is equal to Z by N by 60 for lap winding. So this is very important question for the first unit. So next one is classification of DC machines based on application. So generally DC generators used to be classified into two types. So one is separately excited DC generator, self-excited DC generators. So in the self-excited generators is again classified into three types: shunt generator, series generator and compound generators. Compound generators are again classified into two types: long shunt compound generator and short shunt compound generators. So we can explaining each and every parameters. So first one is separately excited DC generators. So in this, so generally the single line diagram of a DC generator, DC generator is always represented as field winding, so which is to be connected in parallel with armature followed by a two brushes. So this is the single line diagram of generator. So which is to be denoted by F1 and F2, armature terminals A1 and A2. So these two terminals are directly connected to load. In this, so first classification is separately excited DC generator. So in this, the flux produced will be proportional to the field current in unsaturated condition of the poles. So because of field poles are possess some magnetic field, based on that principle which will be operated by the self-excited generators. But in this, field poles are unsaturated condition, then only such type of poles is to be used in separately excited machine. So the EMF will circulate the current against the armature resistance brushes onto the load. In case of a separately excited DC generator, so which is field winding is to be separately or independent of supply. So because of whenever the EMF is to be generated, so which is always requires some parameters. One is conductor, second one is magnetic field, third one is rotation. So then only it should be induces an EMF. So first one, field winding is nothing but conductor. So magnetic field is to be produced by the field winding with the help of supply. So that supply is always connected by the or given by the DC, that is independent of supply, independent or separate of independent of voltage is to be directly given to the field winding. So by using of prime mover, so which is to be rotated, so those rotor conductors cuts the magnetic field, so corresponding it induces an EMF. That EMF is to be collected commutator, so commutator to brushes, so brushes is to be directly delivered to load, So in this, so we are considered as a voltage and current equations, So in this, so first of all, this is the field winding, another one is armature. So in this, resistance of armature winding is denoted by Ra. So generated voltage is equal to Eg. So during the operating condition, rotor conductors is to be generates an EMF. That EMF is to be denoted by Eg. So corresponding current delivered by load is equal to IL. So terminal voltage is to be denoted by V. V is the terminal voltage. This independent of voltage source is to be given to the Vf. Corresponding current is equal to If. If is denoted by field current. So which is equal to F1 and F2. The resistance of field winding is equal to Rf. Resistance of field winding is denoted by Rf. So in this, applying KVL in this loop, applying KVL in loop 1. So applying KVL in this loop, so which is equal to the algebraic sum of all the voltages must be is equal to 0. So then generated voltage minus terminal voltage minus so armature current is to be coming out of the armature. So that's why armature current is to be multiplied with armature resistance because of voltage drop across the resistance. Armature having some resistance which is to be denoted by Ra. So that's why voltage drop across the armature resistance is equal to Ia into Ra. So then voltage or commutator is always attached by the two brushes. So brushes or contact of brushes is also existing of some voltage drop. So which is minus V brush is equal to 0. So finally voltage equation of a separately excited generator EZ is equal to V plus Ia Ra plus V brush. So EZ is equal to V plus Ia V brush. Second one is armature current and load current both are in series. So that's why Ia is equal to IL. So in this, so we can find out the power. So P is equal to V into I. So but in this, current in load is equal to IL. So from this equation, load current IL is equal to PL divided by V. So finally IF is equal to, or we can find out the current in field winding. Is equal to IF is equal to voltage divided by, that means VF, voltage supplied by the field winding. So VF divided by RF. So these are the voltage and currents of a separately excited DC generator. So in this, separately excited means field winding is to be separately energized by a independent voltage source. So then only which will be represented as a separately excited generator. Another thing is, So these field poles are completely unsaturated. These field poles are completely unsaturated. So such type of poles only existing or operated in the separately excited DC generators. Separately excited DC generators. So in this, so these are the very important because of separately excited. Second one is the self-excited generators. Self-excited generators. So self-excited generators are always having saturated poles. In case of a separately excited, non-saturated or unsaturated condition of the poles. Unsaturated condition of the poles. Each and every type of generators is to be existing of voltage and current equations. So those equations is always completely written by the KVL equations. KVL equations in this fashion only. In this fashion only. So that is the first condition. That is the first type of conditions. So in this, so we can written the overall summary of the today class is so first one is principle of operation. Second one is EMF equation. Third one is types of separately excited DC generator. So these are the topics is to be covered in today class. So first one is the principle of operation of DC generator. The basic principle of operation of DC generator is dynamically induced EMF. Dynamically induced EMF. Dynamically induced EMF. So because of conductor is to be continuously changes but field constant, such type of EMF is called as dynamically induced EMF, which is always requires the rectangular coil, permanent magnets, external load, split rings and brushes. So this arrangement is to be existing in a armature or generator. So corresponding by using a prime mover, which is to be continuously rotating from 0 to 360 degrees, which is always generates the sinusoidal supply. So in this sinusoidal is to be converted into pulsating DC by using commutator, which is to be converted into AC to DC. So second one is EMF equation of a DC generator. EMF equation. So number of poles of a machine, flux per pole. So poles, flux per pole, speed in RPM, total number of conductors, and finally EC is equal to generated EMF. EC is equal to generated EMF. So in these notations, so we are calculating the two parameters. One is after completion of one rotation, so flux per conductor is equal to P into phi. So time taken to complete one revolution, dt is equal to 60 divided by N. So EMF per conductor is equal to P phi into N divided by 60. P by N by 60. So total generated voltage EZ is equal to Z phi N by 60 into P by A. So A is the number of parallel paths, P is the number of poles, N is the speed in RPM, flux per pole, total divided by 60. So in this, armature is to be connected in two types of windings. For lap winding, another one is wave winding. For lap winding, A is always equal to P. Wave winding, A is always is equal to 2. So which is to be substituting in place of these two. So Eg for lap winding is equal to Z pi n by 60. Z pi n by 60, or Eg wave winding is equal to Z pi n into P divided by 120. So these are the final equations of EMF equation of a DC generator. Another one is classification or types of generators. So which is to be broadly classified into two types: separately excited and self-excited DC generators. Separately excited generator, so that means field winding is to be separately excited by the independent of voltage source. So that's why these field poles are also having unsaturated poles. So then only which will be existing as a separately excited DC generators. So in this we can written voltage and current equations. So Vg, Eg is equal to V plus Ia Ra plus V brush. So Ia is equal to